Unanisikia mheshimiwa, ngoja niongee na mheshimiwa.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up. And remember to keep in touch. Kindly reach us on KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Maurer. Now, to kick us off this afternoon, we cross over to the Bomas of Kenya, where the much anticipated talks between the government and the opposition kicked off Wednesday, with leaders from both the Kenya Kwanza Alliance and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition pitching tent at the Bomas of Kenya. Now let's listen in.
We therefore commit that we shall, number one, negotiate in good faith and genuinely seek a just outcome for all Kenyans. Secondly, seek solutions that address the rights and interests of all Kenyans now and in the future. And thirdly, uphold and promote integrity, transparency, and accountability throughout the dialogue process. And number four, ensure respect for the Constitution and the rule of law. Number five, we undertake to regularly and honestly update the people of Kenya on the developments throughout this process. And number six, respect and uphold the dignity of all our participants and Kenyans in the dialogue. We shall not negotiate, and this is important for us, for any form of power sharing with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance or put any personal interest ahead of the interests of our people. Fellow Kenyans, we ask for your continued prayers and support so that we may find a lasting solution to the challenges that bedevil our nation. May God bless Kenya. Asanteni sana. Now, yes, thank you so much, Eugene. Our delegation comprises Mheshimiwa Eugene Wamalo, leader of a political party DAP, Mheshimiwa Opiyo Wandayi, a minority leader in the National Assembly. I'm quite sure all of you know these leaders. Nobody should pretend that they're getting introduced to anybody. Amina Mnyazi, she does represent a continuous approach to this because she was in the bipartisan talks, a member from Kilifi, Malindi, Senator Senior Counsel, Kongimo Umgeni, and we have, of course, our backup teams at the back there. We say this is opening, so people are free to come. So we have Mheshimiwa Mwango Area there. Mheshimiwa Kioni heads our technical team. We have there other friends, Professor Olo, Adams Olo, and Okoso Jakoya is sitting out there. We said we can open this up, he's here. But should we decide, by the way, to have an inaugural session where we can invite our international friends, I'm quite sure it will be a bigger forum, or other Kenyans, so that because I'm sure that Kenyans are really following this process. Mheshimiwa Mwango Area, I think I did mention, Wajakoya, and our brother Zain, a former member of IALA, is also in our backup teams, and I think I saw a few other younger people. They're standing up there. you get to introduce as we move on. Okongo and Rodney and others. So over to you, my dear sister.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The honorable members here present and the media, good morning. No, good afternoon. I'm here to represent our team leader, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, who unfortunately got held up in Nyeri, and due to the bad weather he couldn't get to fly in time, but is now airborne. We expect that he should be here shortly. And I will start by first introducing the team from Kenya Kwanza, and I would prefer that they introduce themselves. Please, Senator, start with you.
My name is Aaron Cheruiyot, Senator for Kericho and Majority Leader of the Senate.
Hassan Omar, a Member of Parliament Yala, and also the Vice Chair of the UDA Party.
My name is Catherine Wambilianga, County MP Bungoma, and also the Chair Bungoma County Port Kenya.
Thank you. I'm Cecily Mbarire. I am the Governor for Embu County, and I'm also the National Chair of the UDA Party, and a member of this team from Kenya Kwanza. I don't have a speech like my friend and colleague, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, but I'll just say that we are here as the Kenya Kwanza team because we know that our country is more important than any one of us. And we've been sent here by the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to come and sit with our brothers to find a solution to the issues that are being brought on the table. We come here in good faith. We come here putting the interests of the people of Kenya first. We come here determined to look for long-lasting solutions for our great country, Kenya. We as a country, I think we've had our challenges in the past, and we've taken peace very, very seriously. And in those moments where we were called upon to sit and talk and look for solutions, we've done that. We believe that even now we'll be able to get the solutions that are required to move our nation forward and to maintain the peace that we so dearly need for the prosperity of our nation. I also believe, and we believe as a team, that the issues before us are issues that can be discussed and solutions found, and that we are able as a nation to come up with our own local solutions to our issues because we are called upon as leaders to do so. And therefore, we want to promise the Azimio team that we are here to discuss the issues as we shall raise them. We will take this process very, very seriously, and our President has directed that we do so, and that we'll continue to consult both within here and outside in order that we can come up with long-lasting solutions. I want to believe that each one of us is here for open and fair dialogue, and that we shall be led by our commitment to the common interest of the people of Kenya and not personal interests. And so we look forward to a truly consultative process, a fair dialogue led by the interest of the people of Kenya, and more importantly, guided by our mutual trust from both sides, and guided by our constitution and the laws of Kenya. So we look forward to a great session today and in the future, and we hope that we can be able to seek solutions in the quickest way possible so that our country can continue to move forward. Thank you very much, and we are happy to be part of this process.
Excuse me, Chair. You forgot to introduce our backup team at the back here.
We do have honorable members. Please stand up, introduce yourselves. Please just say your names.
Yeah, my name is William Kamkes, Member of Parliament for Kiati. And we are here, not as backup, but we have issues that we want.
Well, the much anticipated talks between the government and the opposition kicking off at the Bomas of Kenya. The talks are being conducted by a 10-member joint committee with leaders from both the Kenya Kwanza Alliance and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. We will be keeping you updated right here on KBC Channel 1. Now we cross over to Narumoro, where it's day 5 of President William Ruto's development tour in the Mount Kenya region. And remember, the president's itinerary kicked off with the commissioning of a 3-story, 175-bed capacity Narumoro Level 5 hospital in Narumoro, Kieni constituency. Now we join our reporter John Jacob Courier to give us a detailed report.
Thank you very much, Jackie Wambiru, back at Broadcasting House. We're live from Narumoro town. This is at the center of Kieni constituency in Nyeri County. The president has left this town about 20 minutes ago, headed to Gishogo, where he's expected to launch the affordable housing program in Gishogo constituency of Kirinyaga County. But of course, the president was here to launch the Narumoro Level 4 hospital. This hospital is built in conjunction with the county government, and it will be a critical cog in the development of health in Kieni constituency. Most of the residents here have been leaving this place to seek for medical treatment in Nyeri PGH, that is in Nyeri town, and of course have to drive or take a ride that covers several kilometers before you get to Nyeri town. And therefore the county level 4 hospital will be a critical cog in solving the problem issues, or rather the health issues in Nyeri County and particularly Kieni County. And the president has given an order to the Ministry of Health to ensure that there are doctors, lab technicians, as well as any other health expert that is needed in Narumoro 4 level hospital to be in that hospital or that facility by tomorrow, so that area residents will be able to access health services from the Narumoro 4 hospital. But of course I know that previously you were engaged with the bipartisan team that is speaking in Bomas of Kenya, and from what the president has said here is that that has been his clarion call since entering this region on Saturday, that there will be no handshake and that the opposition must denounce violence. The president today has gone further to say if there will be any competition between him and the opposition, it will be solely on ideas, and he will no longer entertain a competition of rhetoric or a competition that involves violence where people go to the streets and destroy people's property. The president very clear that he will no longer allow demonstrations on the streets, and he says the opposition should start reorganizing themselves for the elections in 2027, and that is the only contest, the other contest that he expects that he will have with the opposition, that is the year 2027. Otherwise, the president says there's a government in place delivering services to the people, and therefore the opposition should focus their mind on either preparing themselves for the elections in 2027 or giving ideas to the government generally on how to solve some of the problems that are affecting Kenyans, and not to demonstrate in the streets. Like I said, the president is headed to Gishogo in Kirinyaga County, where he's expected to launch that affordable housing program. And after that, the president will be in Thika, that is in Kiambu County. There is a water project to be launched in Thika, and then an affordable housing project also to be commissioned in Thika. And the president says the affordable housing project is a stone that kills two birds, in the sense of, as you deal with the low-cost housing, and that ensures that everybody is being housed in a dignified place, that it also provides jobs for the youth, and that is an endemic problem in the Republic of Kenya, that 1 million jobs will be provided to the youth through the affordable housing program. And of course, this marks the last day of President Ruto's tour of the Mount Kenya region, because after Thika, the president will head back to Nairobi, of course, to continue with the rest of his program. But he's been here since Saturday, and today marks the last day of his tour of the Mount Kenya region that has seen him launch development projects from Kiambu, in Murang'a, Nyeri, as well as, in sections of Laikipia. And the president has also been engaging leaders, local leaders at the Sagana State Lodge since his arrival. And that's just how the program looks like. After that, then the president heads back to Nairobi for his normal schedule and duties. So for now, that's it. Jackie Wambiru, I want to hand you back to Jackie Wambiru in studio, and thank you very much. Back to you, Jackie.
Well, thank you so much, JJ Carrier, there highlighting the president's 5-day development tour in the Mount Kenya region. And this afternoon, he's expected to launch affordable housing at Gishogu town in Gishogu constituency, Kirinyaga County. At the same time, he will later on commission the Karimeno water project at Ngoigwa in Thika town constituency. And the launch of affordable housing project Thika Town constituency will culminate the president's Mount Kenya development tour Wednesday. Now we move on to matters education, where Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu now wants retired teachers whose retirement benefits have been delayed for over a year to contact the ministry. Appearing before the Senate, the CS said pension for retired teachers ought to be disbursed in 6 months after retirement. The Cabinet Secretary was responding to a question by Embu Senator Alexander Mundigi as to why some retirees in the education sector have to wait for up to 2 years before receiving their benefits, while retirees in other government agencies were paid within 3 months.
Senate, and as you can see, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kithure Muru.
Yangu swali ni walimu ambaye wanjiwezi na wale wengine wanajiweza, wakati wanafika miaka 60 kunakuwa na shinda wakati wa malipo. Wote unakuta wakimaliza mambo yao. Tumeona makampuni mingi inawalipa pesa zao za uzeeni ikiwa imemaliza miezi 3. Lakini upande wa elimu unakuta wanakaa kama miaka 2 au mwaka mmoja bila kulipwa pesa. Utasaidia namna gani wakati huu, kwa sababu tunajua serikali ya Kenya Kwanza inafanya kazi nzuri na wao wanafanya kazi nzuri. Asante Bwana Waziri.
Tumeweza kueleza Teacher Service Commission wakati mtu anastaafu faili yake inatumwa haraka iwezekanavyo kwa pensions, ndio malipo sasa inaweza kushughulikiwa. Kwa sababu kusema kweli, kama mtu alikuwa anapata mshahara araba akae mwaka mmoja miaka 2 bila kupata, hiyo itaweza leta madhara ngine. Lakini ningetaka kuhakikishia mheshimiwa ya kwamba kama iko kesi yoyote ambaye pengine mmeweza kukaa mwaka, kwa sababu tunasitisha kwamba pengine ikienda miezi 4 miezi 5 mtu ameweza kulipwa, alafu kutoka hapa na weko kwa orodha anapokea ile ya kila mwezi. Lakini kama iko kesi kama hiyo, tafadhali unafikisha kwangu, alafu kutoka hapa tutaweza kuishughulikia kikamilifu.
The Salaries and Remuneration Commission says that a salary review for state and civil servants will be backdated to July 1st this year. In a press briefing, the SRC chairperson Lynn Mengage has, however, said the current salaries of the president and deputy president will be retained. The SRC revealed that the teaching service is the lowest paid cadre in government employees. However, only salaries of employees below 50% will be reviewed upwards.
The surveys revealed that gross salaries for some public service institutions are below the target 50th percentile, while others are above. Just to give you a quick summary is that state officers are at 45th percentile, state corporations are above at 89th percentile, civil service in both national and county governments are below, they are at 39th percentile, Teaching service is below at 36th percentile. Public universities are close to the target, they are at 49th percentile. Other public officers, which includes constitutional commissions, that's the secretariat staff, are above at 84th percentile. These figures demonstrate that there are state corporations, there are public service institutions that are below the 50th percentile, some are above. And therefore, as a result of that, this review seeks therefore to adjust remuneration and benefit structures that are below the target market positioning of the 50th percentile to ensure attraction and retention of requisite skills to the extent of affordability and fiscal sustainability.
A truck driver has died in a tragic road accident this morning at Sikata area along the Webuye-Malaba highway. The driver is reported to have been burnt to death after the tanker he was driving lost control, hit a transformer and burst into flames. Efforts to escape from the truck were futile as he was trapped. Bungoma County Police Commander Francis Koti, confirming the incident, said the truck driver was trying to avoid a boda rider when he hit the transformer. Meanwhile, 29 people are receiving treatment at Kakuma Mission Hospital after the bus they were traveling in veered off the road following a tire burst. Confirming the incident, Turkana West Police Commander Richard Moracher said the bus was headed to Kitale when the accident occurred.
Some things might happen in terms of other obstructions, and if you are at high speed and controlling these trucks when you are loaded. So what we are encouraging drivers is to look at the mechanisms of their vehicle.
Tumeweza kupingirika chini mara mbili na tumepata majeruhi, watu wameumia, lakini bahati mzuri hakuna mtu hata mmoja ameaga.
Tuendelee kuchunga usalama barabarani.
In other news, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has rolled out a pilot tree planting program involving the youth who were previously involved in drugs and substance abuse. The pilot program has been started in Kiamariga village, Nyeri County, before being rolled out in other parts of the country.
During her engagement with the youth at the event, Pastor Dorcas mentioned that the program has already made a positive impact by guiding numerous young individuals to refrain from engaging in drugs and substance abuse.
Get them into productivity and to make them people who are able to contribute to the economy and the revenue, become a revenue stream for this country. It's succession management where we take the old people, they teach the young people, and where they are moving, then the young people can be able to occupy that place.
Paul Waihenya, one of the beneficiaries, shared that his involvement has consistently kept him engaged and prevented him from resorting to drugs.
Nilikuwa nakunywa pombe, nilikuwa natumia karibu kila aina ya dawa, ya madawa. Sasa hii imenipunguzia juu at least na a lot of time na take nikiwa hapa na yani si waste time huko nje.
Sisi ndo tunapanda miti na sasa tunafunza vijana pia wengine wenye wako huko bado, tunaelimisha kuhusu hii project, tunapea umuhimu wao.
Nilikuwa mkunywaji wa pombe sana, na wakati nilianza hii kazi patabu na wazi.
Furthermore, the young men are set to plant at least 500,000 trees. A similar program is run by the widows in Loitoktok, Kajiado County, with a target of 500,000 trees.
Not just here that I am doing, but in Loitoktok we have another 500,000 trees that are being planted. This time it is the widows that are doing there.
Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
Residents of Ngari Village, Maral, Samburu County, want the county leadership to beef up security following the theft of livestock last evening. The residents say those behind the theft were slaughtering and selling the meat to nearby butcheries. They are calling on the county commissioner and police to set up vigilance, especially at meat selling points, to nab those behind the syndicate.
Hapa kwetu tuko na shida ya wizi ya mbuzi. Mbuzi hapa imekuwa ikienda na hatujui inaenda namna gani, kwa sababu wanakuja kuchukua mbuzi na zingine na kupatikana kama wameshinja na wameenda na mwili. Tunauliza serikali yetu ituangalie, iangalie hiyo ukora, sababu tunasikia hata kuna wazee au vijana wanaenda hapa usiku wanafanya patrol. Hapa juu tu Ruto tulihesabu mbuzi 22 imechukuliwa kutoka kijiji hii tu, na hapa
kuna wale wanaituibia mbuzi sana, na hii imeanza hata imeenda sasa karibu mwezi 2 na hatujaishika mtu yote.
Village yangu ndio imeathirika sana na waizi. Now these guys are cartels within us. And I am now urging the county commissioner, in conjunction with the district commissioner, in conjunction with Kirisia division, to take necessary steps on these cartels. They stole our goats, slaughter them, then take them on the black market, usiku na mapikipiki.
The National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, has launched extensive investigations over alleged use of fentanyl drug in the coastal counties. NACADA Acting Chief Executive Officer Professor John Muteti said a multi-sectoral team has been deployed across the coastal counties to investigate the alleged possibility of the drug being in the market. Although there is no conclusive proof to point out the drug's presence in Kenya, NACADA says many injecting drug users are now divulging to multiple drug use, and the possibility of fentanyl abuse may be rife.
And we have a team which has been on the ground for some time now, and they have been collecting samples which we intend to take for analysis. We are with the government chemist here, and they will be able to help us analyze these samples which we are getting, and based on the results, then we'll be able to say for sure what is the substance which is being shown around, and what is it exactly, so that we can give a definite name to this particular substance.
Now, still on health matters, frequent exposure to traumatic medical situations, according to Youth for Behavior Change Initiative, has led many doctors into alcoholism. The victims of the post-traumatic disorder tend to embrace alcoholism to confront life challenges. Lewis Moreithi, a certified doctor, is one among many medics suffering from alcoholism. He narrates how abuse of alcohol threw him into a hole that completely shattered his life goals.
40-year-old Lewis Moreithi is a certified doctor who graduated from the University of Nairobi and landed a government job at the Murang'a District Hospital. It is at Murang'a District Hospital that Moreithi began his drinking to confront family disputes, unmet expectations, and work-related challenges.
Ulianza tu kidogo kidogo vile bila kujua nikajipata nimeshindwa kabisa kutoka kwa ulevi.
As a result of his acquired habits, he was frequently transferred from one hospital to another. It is at Webuye District Hospital that he lost his job.
So from time to time nilikuwa napewa hizo barua za show cause kujieleza nilikuwa wapi ama nimechelewa ama ni kwa nini nimefanya haya makosa.
According to Dr. Andrew Mwengwa Githuka, who is the chairperson for Youth for Behavior Change Initiative, notes that poor working environment, time-consuming demands, huge workloads, among other factors, have lured tens of physicians into alcoholism.
Currently, if you do enough research in the rehabilitation facilities in this nation, majority of the people who are admitted in those facilities are intelligent, employed, people who have great ambitions, visions, and a future.
Mwengwa urged Kenyans to support recovering addicts by embracing them back into the society instead of stigmatizing them.
It is upon the society to stop stigmatization to stop discrimination. But the society should create awareness and sensitize the general members of the public that addiction and alcoholism is a disease.
Pauline Nasimir for Lunchtime News.
Teachers in Turkana County have rolled out peace clubs that will equip learners with skills and knowledge on how to tackle conflicts in their region. The peace building program is set to benefit over 700 learners from Lokwar, Nakuse and Kapatir primary schools who were displaced following bandit attacks. The initiative by the Safer World and Tupado organizations has also seen learners provided with sports kits in order to enhance peaceful coexistence and cooperation among children facing similar conflicts in the neighboring counties. The government is also in the plan of rebuilding the schools that were destroyed in the area by bandits.
World and Tupado as well, to reach to the neighboring counties that have the same problem, so that one day, one time, the learners from this place will go and interact with the learners from the other side, so that peace can prevail.
If you look at that, it clearly points to the need for the learners to develop some level of tolerance and acceptance, but also to help them journey through the trauma of displacement, loss of their parents, loss of their homes and stuff like that.
We decided to start this activity so that we can grow. These children become peaceful at this early age so that they can try to interact with others, and we also take them sometimes for tours to the other schools and interact with other children peacefully.
Well, that brings us to a fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up. Let's take that break.
나 경력 단절돼서 처음부터 다시 시작해야 되는데 애 딸린 아줌마라고 다들 싫대. 나 진짜 일 잘하던 여자였는데. 많이 놀라셨죠?
전혀요.
그래서 그렇게 들어오셨구나.
누가 누웠다고?
Boy, ping pong! You did it! This is awesome! From now on, we are friends. Friends till the end. Seems like it was meant to be. I'm so happy it's you and me. You and me. Wonder Star.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Nursing mothers in Isiolo County will now have an easier time attending to their babies after the county government administration announced plans to set aside safe spaces for all public utilities for breastfeeding and changing diapers. Speaking to members of the public during the commemoration of the World Breastfeeding Week held at the Isiolo Referral Hospital grounds, the county chief officer in charge of public health, Bisharo Hassan, pointed out that 2 rooms would be set aside at the referral hospital. According to Bisharo, other major public utilities which are at advanced stages of construction, such as the Isiolo Market, Stadium and the abattoir, will also be equipped with safe spaces reserved as a way of encouraging mothers to observe exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of their baby's life.
Wagonjwa ama wale watakuja na watoto wageni. Kwa hivyo mahali ya pili ni ofisi ya governor, mahali kutakuwa na staff wakiwa na mahali ya kunyonyesha na kuchange, na tena kuna space ya wageni pia watakuja kunyonyesha watoto wao, pahali pasafi na kuchange pampers pia.
Still on health matters, Kakamega County has launched a maternal health training hub for expectant mothers and their babies. The hub, which will be domiciled at Kakamega Referral Hospital, seeks to reduce maternity. Now, speaking during its launch, Kakamega County First Lady Janet Kasili observed that cases of mothers and girls losing their lives each year due to pregnancy-related complications was still being reported, hence the need of coming up with a training hub for expectant mothers and first-time mothers.
Globally, we lose over 500,000 women during pregnancy-related conditions annually. It is, however, important to note that nearly all of those life-threatening conditions can be addressed effectively with safe, low-technology interventions by skilled providers at all levels of care. This is by comprehensively implementing emergency obstetric and newborn care, which comprises a set of life-saving interventions that treat the major obstetric and newborn causes of morbidity and mortality.
National Syndemic Diseases Control Council held meetings with the Njuri Cheke Meru Council of Elders about the high preferences of HIV/AIDS infection in the country. According to Jeffrey Githu, the chairman of NSDCC, the country has 1.4 million total HIV infections, with 3 people being infected every hour. Githu says, though the government is putting a lot of effort into fighting new HIV infections, gender-based violence and early pregnancies, there was a need for private partners to complement government efforts.
Wazazi wajasikiria kuwa wazazi wameasiria watoto. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wazee tunataka kurudia vile tulikuwa zamani. Watoto walikuwa wa community. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuona watoto wa Meru wote si wa wazazi peke yao, ni wa community, ni wa jamii. Tuwachunge kama watoto.
This triple threat of unwanted pregnancy and sexual-based violence exposes the young people to HIV and contribute to new HIV infections in the country. And we cannot defeat HIV as long as we still have new HIV infections coming on board.
Residents of Mbodoni area in Mwea sub-county are decrying having to travel long distances to access medical services. The only available dispensary lacks testing kits and cannot offer basic services, thus subjecting locals to untold suffering.
The residents who spoke during a public participation forum on the state of their health facilities say a lack of vital medical kits and crucial services in the area dispensary is making them have to travel as far as Kirinyaga and Machakos counties for treatment.
Ile hospitali tuko nayo hapa haitupatii huduma ambao unaostahili.
Kutoka nyumbani kuingia hospitali ni shida, kwa maana hakuna pesa, uchumi ni kidogo kwa huku Mbondoni.
Those who cannot afford the traveling have to make do with the services at the Mbodoni dispensary, which has dysfunctional maternity ward.
Wamama wengi hujifungua kwa magari sababu itabidi mama mwenyewe aende na gari za abiria. Kwa hivyo wakati mwingine unapata watoto uzaliwa kwa barabara, wengine hata wanaitwa majina ya magari yenyewe.
They're now calling on the county leadership to address this challenge and accord them a much-needed reprieve.
Tunahitaji lab ili tunapoenda pale tuwe tukitibiwa kwa njia inayostahili, tunapewa madawa ambayo yanafaa ili tusikunywe madawa inje tudhuru baadaye.
Sisi watu wa Bondoni hatukatai, tunaletewa mandawa, lakini wacha tuletewe zile mandawa zinafaa. Tuache kuletewa zile mandawa zingine unaona ni kama wana dispose.
Isafar reporting for Lunchtime News.
Parents living with children with disability from 12 sub-counties in Kiambu County have been sensitized on ways they can deal with the emotional and financial stress they grapple with while bringing up their children. The parents who were also trained on manufacture of khaki packing bags to support them economically.
Under the program organized by Jamii Products, a small informal farm situated at the sprawling Witedia village in Juja, Kiambu County, parents with children with disability are undertaking the free training, which they are expected to pass on to all parents and guardians of persons living with disability in the area. Led by Juliet Mwaniki, who has for the last decade been taking care of her child suffering from cerebral palsy, the parents said the training will go a long way in helping them venture into income-generating activities to support their families.
Kwa nyumba kwa miaka 10 kwa sababu nimekuwa nikitunza mtoto wangu ambaye ako na ulemavu wa cerebral palsy. Lakini sasa nikishajua kutengeneza makaratasi haya ambayo nitakuwa ninayatengenezea kwa nyumba na hapo niko na mtoto wangu ninamwangalia, sina wasiwasi ati mtoto anaumizwa na mtu ama mtoto wangu anapatwa na jambo mbaya. Nitaweza kutengenezea makaratasi kwa nyumba na nitoke niende nitafute soko niuze niweze kupata pesa zangu hata za kununulia mtoto dawa hata kununua diapers.
Josephat Mokoit, a representative of the National Councils for Persons with Disabilities, said that once they complete the 10-day course, the groups will receive grants to enable them to venture into businesses for their economic growth. He called on the government to support people in the informal settlement to expand their businesses.
Tumekuja kuraunch. Yes, tumekuwa tukifanya kuempower the PWD ama mtu ambaye ako na disability. Anaweza kuwa disable ama mwenye anamwangalia kama caregiver. So tunawaempower, tunawafunza kutengeneza karatasi ya kaki. Na hii karatasi ya kaki ni akina packaging bags, envelopes, book covers, checky boxes, popcorn bags, envelopes, even the church envelope. Na hii yote tunafanya na mkono. Ndio maana tukasema leo to launch hiyo program ndio tuweze kuempower them, ndio hata wao waweze kuwa empowered, waweze kuempower the other community.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Purity Musioka.
And on environmental matters, over 54 million people in the Horn of Africa are in dire need of relief assistance as the impacts of climate change continue to manifest. An IGAD member states meeting of agriculture ministers now want a coordinated approach by member states to create resilience among communities to cushion them against the adverse effects of climate change.
Changing weather patterns coupled by the threat of transboundary pests due to climate change is a major challenge facing the Horn of Africa. The IGAD Climate Predictions and Application Center Executive Director, Dr. Gulaid Artan, says with the impending El Nino Southern Oscillation expected in the fourth quarter of the year, there is a need for member states to put in place measures to cushion vulnerable communities. He says that pockets of desert locusts have been detected in parts of Sudan and southern Ethiopia, which could migrate based on the wind direction. Hence the need for a regional approach in dealing with the menace.
We need to collaborate between us, but also collaborate with countries that are next to us. And if we don't do, we will not be able to tackle, because these pests don't know boundaries. Today, the country that is the infestation source, tomorrow will receive back, because the winds are going from north to south, south to north.
Reliance on rain-fed agriculture, the use of low-technology farming methods, cyclic floods and droughts are compounding the situation for vulnerable communities.
When pastures fail, or when we have an attack by the locusts, and they clear the vegetation, then the number of animals that die are very, very high.
Judith Akolo, Lunchtime News.
Now let's talk business. Plans are underway to expand Wilson Airport in Nairobi to ease pressure of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. These, alongside aviation safety, security and facilitation, are among the key issues to be addressed during the 8th International Civil Aviation Organization Africa and Indian Ocean Conference, set to begin on the 21st of this month in Nairobi.
Wilson Airport is one of the busiest airports in East and Central Africa, as it accounts for 90% of total domestic flights and 10% of international flights. Despite the rosy numbers, Wilson Airport has only 2 runways. In addition, Wilson Airport, which handles an average of 350 flights daily from 200 operators, has 9 designated parking bays, which affects service delivery.
Some of you who have been to Wilson Airport will notice that it is very congested. It is actually congested, and is something that we are looking at it, and we will be taking up with our colleagues at Kenya Airports Authority, see what we can be done.
Ahead of the 8th International Civil Aviation Organization Africa and Indian Ocean Conference, slated for the 21st to the 25th of this month in Nairobi, those in the aviation industry want safety, security and facilitation prioritized during the forum.
We do have far too many operators in Kenya, and this speaks to the regulations we have. But we are looking at this thing. There are quite a number of things that were left to drift, and with the engagement with the stakeholders, we will be able to address that as a board.
Kenya Civil Aviation Authority Director General Emil Arau believes the conference would help position Kenya as an aviation and trade hub regionally.
Kenya is at the forefront on development of the environmental agenda, sustainable aviation fuels, low carbon aviation fuels, LCAF, and also looking at our feedstock, especially the feedstock.
The forum is also expected to discuss the use of sustainable aviation fuel. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
Learners in technical vocational education training institutes are said to benefit from training on soft skill relevant to their courses to foster creativity and innovation. The National Industrial Training Authority says the training, in partnership with TVET institutions, will increase employability of the students.
In response to the high unemployment that has seen over 1.5 million youth aged between 20 and 29 with no source of income, the National Industrial Training Authority says they are committed to partner with TVETs, universities and polytechnics to ensure skills produced are useful in the future world of work.
This is where the bottom-up economy is. Any student that leaves the industrial training in this country, automatically they are employed 95%, because they use their fine motor and the skill to do an activity that will give them bread and assist themselves and their families.
Speaking at the Kenya Industrial Training Institute in Nakuru, the chairperson noted that skills mismatch is a key challenge facing the youth, adding that there was a disconnect between the courses offered and the market needs, which the authority was keen on streamlining.
Enrollment of students is very less. Our youth, they are normally looking for white-collar jobs. That's never enough for each one of us. So I advise them to get this one, to get a skilled labor that can assist them so that they can be able to be employed and self-employed.
Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
Kenya targets to increase coffee production from the current 51,000 metric tons to 81,000 metric tons by lowering the cost of production through subsidizing farm inputs. This is according to Cooperative's Principal Secretary, Patrick Kilemi, who says the national government is also working with county governments to strengthen the extension services to boost coffee production.
Coffee production in Kenya has reduced from a high of 129,637 metric tons in the year 1987-1988 to a low of 36,867 metric tons in the year 2019-2020. The government has laid out measures to increase production from the current 51,000 metric tons to 260,000 metric tons by the year 2027. This is expected to be achieved through a number of measures, such as lowering cost of production through subsidizing farm inputs, streamlining the accessibility and disbursement of the Cherry Advanced Revolving Fund, as well as revamping the coffee research through reintroduction of the Coffee Research Institute. Other measures include reintroduction of the Coffee Board of Kenya to oversight and coordinate the coffee policy, especially positioning the Kenya coffee globally, and the national government working with county governments to strengthen the extension services. The Nairobi Coffee Exchange is next week expected to reopen and operate under the new coffee regulatory framework. Co-op Bank has been appointed by the Nairobi Coffee Exchange to provide the direct settlement system technology platform on which coffee trading will henceforth be conducted as provided for in the new coffee trading regime supervised by the Capital Markets Authority. So far, 11 coffee cooperative unions have been licensed to sell coffee directly at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange and overseas, thereby eliminating the need for middlemen between the farmer and the buyer. 5 other unions will be licensed before the end of August, leading to a total of 16 unions representing coffee farmers across the coffee growing zones.
County governments should increase the number of extension officers to improve production. The Kenya Crops and Dairy Market System say inadequate knowledge of the best farming practices was the major challenge to optimal dairy production, as Wycliffe Okechun narrates.
The best that a farmer can do is for us to support the farmer to improve that cow that they have to have a higher productivity over time. But you can also have the best of the cows, but if you don't feed the cow appropriately and take good care of the cow in the right way, then it will not be able to maximize its potential.
So the journey is small. Through various technologies, through various interventions, we are able to work through the farmer, especially with capacity building, advisory services, and to ensure that they are at this spot or step in place.
AI as a business, when I started, in fact, I can say that I started with doing like 2 or 3 inseminations per month. But when KCDMS and ILRI supported us under the USAID funding, as we speak now, I can do like 35 inseminations per month on a good day, and as few as 25 on a bad month when maybe there is no rain.
Now, farmers in Embu East sub-county in Runyenje's constituency have begun reaping better yields as a result of trainings on climate-resilient techniques. The project by International Center for Tropical Agriculture in collaboration with Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization has empowered farmers who are now training other farmers in the area on climate-smart agriculture to improve resilience.
In the past 3 years, Kenya has experienced a shortage of rain, resulting in persistent famine in the country. The severe drought led to water shortages, death of livestock and humans, and increased food prices. This prompted a shift from rain-fed agriculture in order to sustain food security even during drier periods. A project in Runyenje saw farmers take on the adoption of new farming techniques, which are already literally bearing fruit.
Teknolojia zile ambazo tunahimiza wakati huu ni zile ambazo zitasaidia wakulima kustahimili ama kuweza kuepukana na janga hili la mabadiliko ya tabia nchi.
Additionally, through the diversification programs, farmers now have a fallback option should the primary crop fail. This ensures reduced risk of food deficiency and better quality yield.
When we use these management practices, we actually have been kind of getting almost our optimal yield. Like in the case of Nyota, you'll find the farmers get less than 1 ton in an acre or in a hectare. But now with the current ways or the management practices that we've been training the farmers to use, we are getting about 2 tons per hectare.
Farmers have been encouraged to apply fertilizer that addresses the uniqueness of their soils, given that the one-size-fits-all approach has greatly contributed to acidifying and deterioration of soils, and with it decline in farmer yields.
Kunuka kwetu ni vile hiyo kilimo yako kakuota kadogo wako katoto tulitoa kwa mother kana kupatia mahindi yako ya kukula na mahindi ya kuuza hata mboso ya kukula uendi kwa duka tena.
The organizations have been working with farmers in groups, in demonstration farms, on how they can improve their yields through the adoption of new techniques, including proper soil and water management, crop rotation, diversification, and use of improved crop varieties. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
And now news making headlines in the sports arena. Barcelona concluded their preparations for the new season in style with a 4-2 win over Tottenham Hotspur in the annual Joan Gamper Trophy match played at Barcelona's Olympic Stadium. Barcelona will face Getafe on Sunday in the La Liga opening match.
Mixed results. Into get in here through Rafinha. And at the back post is Lewandowski.
Robert Lewandowski gave Barcelona the lead in the 3rd minute before Oliver Skip scored a brace to give Spurs a 2-1 lead in the first half.
Parts of this here, Perisic. It's towards Richarlison, but he had a second runner, and Spurs have a second goal through that man again.
Spurs suffered a late collapse to see them lose the One Gamper Trophy to the host after Ansu Fati and Abdi Ezazuli scored in the last 10 minutes of the match, sealing the 4-2 win for the hosts. Barcelona will face Getafe on Sunday in the La Liga opening match.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. And 10 years into the implementation of devolution in Kenya, tonight at 9 p.m. we take stock of the achievements, challenges and opportunities for devolution in Kenya. And we have a themed bulletin dubbed Devolution and 10. Remember, the hashtag is Devolution and 10. For now,